In our last video, we looked at an overview of webinars. In this video, we will look at how to get started at GoToWebinar. First, go to GoToMeeting, http://www.gotomeeting.com, and click on GoToWebinar. On the following page, you will see that you can try it for free for 30 days. Click on the Try It Free button. Now fill out all your information and hit the Continue button. Next, you will need to get a password and agree to the terms of service. Then click Continue. Following that, you will need to put in your payment information to be billed after the 30 days. There are clear instructions on how to cancel if you need to. Hit Continue. On the next screen, you will be able to set to get started and see what your plan includes. In our next video, we will look at how to design your presentation. Among the most crucial factors in your webinar success is the work you put into designing your slides. This is crucial in any presentations, but particularly so with webinars. In an in-person presentation, you're the main visual for your target market, and your slides are simply visual aids. However, when it comes to a webinar, your slides aren't visual aids. They're the visuals. So put more work into them than you would with an in-person demonstration. Naturally, your slides are simply one part of what makes your webinar engaging. However, it's a really crucial factor, as your slides play such a prominent role in a webinar. In this video, we will look at how to prepare your slides for an effective webinar. This falls into two areas. Chronological sequence. Plan the flow of your presentation in a logical way. Design. Make the slides look attractive while optimizing them. All great webinars have an intro, a body, and a conclusion, so your slides will naturally follow this sequence. However, knowing that alone isn't adequate. What you accomplish in each of these sections matters. A. How to design your back-end offer. B. How to get targeted audience to your webinar. C. How to automate your webinar sessions. The intro of your webinar could only take a couple of minutes. However, it sets the scene, and your audience's expectations for the rest of the webinar. Begin with a title slide. With your webinar title, your name and your picture, and other presenters' names and pictures. Optionally, you could include additional information, like sponsor names and logos, your contact information, or logistics info about joining the webinar. A few participants will be new to webinars, so explain to them how it all works. For instance, how to ask questions, whether a recording is there, whether you'll keep questions anonymous, etc. Even if you're presenting to an audience acquainted webinars, it's worth including this. Include yourself and other presenters to produce a more personal connection with participants. Include an overview so participants know how your content is arranged. Now comes the main content of your webinar, which takes most of the time. Naturally, the slides you produce here will depend upon your material, but it's likewise crucial to structure the slides in a logical sequence. This classic structure frequently is used in business presentations. How were things arranged in the past? What is the present situation? What are you advising for the future? This structure is particularly useful when your webinar is about change, or if the fundamental environment is different. A few topics lend themselves to a geographical approach. For example, if you're identifying something that affects individuals differently in different parts of the world, you present a brief introduction, then talk to them through the effect of different locations, then summarize in your conclusion. For a few topics, it's useful to explain the issue and then describe the answer. In between these, likewise describe the cause and effect, so it looks like this. Issue. What issue is your audience facing? Cause. What is the fundamental cause of that issue? Effect. How much is this costing them? Answer. What are you suggesting to repair the issue? Lastly, the most basic structure is to merely list all your points, but only use it if you're sure that there's no better option available. Don't wait till the end of your webinar for audience interaction. Design particular points for interaction, and show slides at those points to cue your audience. If you plan to stop for questions, slip in a Q&A slide in your presentation at this point. You may, naturally, stop for questions at other times, depending upon your audience needs and the flow of the webinar. But it's useful to schedule a few particular times for questions as part of your preparation. If you stop for an audience poll, put in a slide with the poll question on it. You show the slide first, concisely describe the poll, and then launch the poll in the webinar software. For a lot of individuals, the beginning and end of a presentation may be the most memorable sections, so plan your final slides cautiously to reinforce your primary message and encourage your participants to take action. In the same way you began the webinar's primary content with an overview slide, finish the main message with a summary slide. This might be as easy as repeating the overview slide. If your webinar ends with a particular action plan, show a slide summing up that plan. You may talk through it bit by bit. Although this could be a very simple slide, it's really crucial. Make sure it's clear and simple to follow. Add the last slide that clearly explains what happens next. Even if you've mentioned this before in the webinar, include it on this slide as a reminder. The slide likewise clearly indicates to the audience that the webinar has finished. Next, we will look at how to design your back-end offer.